Hey, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting, head scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. I am your host, as usual, coming back at you with some of the weirdest cases you have ever seen in your life and some of the most mind blowing, if you want to say, theories of what I may feel happens to these people, but these theories end up becoming fact because of how naturally credible they may seem to most. But we are here to tip the scale, people, and that's what I am here to do as well, to tip the scale towards the ultimate truth that everyone will sooner or later will have to accept, no matter how creepy the news may be. But in light of all that, we tend to break the ice a little bit, have a little fun along the way. So that's what I'm here to do, people. I'm here to brighten your eyes and open your mind all at the same time. Make you laugh, make you smile, make you say, this guy's crazy, but he's making a lot of sense. Once again, makes you want to giggle. Well, at least me anyway. But anyway, what I wanted to get right into is a new story that I found out about today. Well, tonight, really, today, because it's already 1:30 a.m. So yeah, it's late, but it's never too late to hear some crazy news. So anyway, this one is going to be about a man at the age of 37 years old, somewhere in Texas, who has been lost in a remote and rugged Arkansas hiking trail for nearly a week. But his sister and local authorities are, vowing to find him. Obviously, we need to bring this man home so he can be with his family. So anyway, this man's name is Joshua McClatchy. He was reported missing to the Polk County Sheriff's Office on Saturday. Okay, now they launched a very extensive search too. These are the words coming from the sheriff's office there. Now, McClatchy had texted his mom that day to say he was actually lost, and he tried his best to, describe his location, to her, but apparently it wasn't good enough because they still haven't found him. And like they said, it's been over a week. Now, McClatchy, he went missing on the mountainous Buckeye Trail. This is in the Caney Creek Wilderness area east of Mena, the Polk County Sheriff's Office said in their interview. Now, his car was actually found at the Buckeye Trailhead, which is the one thing that they always find. A car at the beginning of a trailhead, or in a parking lot near a trailhead. Happens every time. Okay. Now, in retrospect, lost hikers are common in that area, but they are usually found within a few hours. So this is something that's according to what the sheriffs know in that particular county or whatever. Now, everyone out there is helping. Everyone out there is helping. They're pretty much incredible. To the families and everything and the friends. Now they will find him. This is something that McClatchy's sister said. Her name is Miranda Baldoff. She was writing all this stuff on Facebook. This was around like Thursday morning. Now, they have a huge search team. This is something that she wrote. This is actually what she did write on Facebook. And she says they have a huge search team today, and even more arriving in the coming days. Should it extend, Baldoff wrote. And she also said that they have drones, bloodhounds that that are being used. And if there is a window of clear skies, the planes are ready and just waiting. So that's a good sign. That way they can get a much more aerial view of where he might be. They may see something shining, from the sunlight. If it's gonna be sunny that day, like maybe he may have one of those Parker things on, or one of those vests with the orange and the fluorescent yellow strips on it. So you never know. But anyway, now where Josh is it actually is survivable, which is pretty cool, because most of the places where these people disappear, they're never in an area where they can actually survive. They always end up being found dead because it's either too harsh with heat or too harsh with the cold. Never somewhere in between. So that's a good sign. The weather, if it permits, he may come out of this alive. So we'll see. Now, it isn't that it isn't dangerous, but the water is plentiful and clean. And even if he doesn't know it's clean, he has a straw. He has one of those filter straws, I guess for his little canteen or whatever. There are berries as well, so that's good. You get the protein, and hopefully those berries that only bugs, birds, and animals can eat. Other animals can eat. Maybe there's some berries that you can actually eat yourself as far as being human. Now, yes, there has been a ton of rain, which is something that always happens when these people disappear, obviously. But there are rock that of course they have some rocky overcroppings. You can use those as shade from the rain or from heavy, from very bright and hot sunlight. Because if let's say it's overcropping and it's got a lot of shade, so it's a lot cooler. So you can sit there for a while and cool off while even though it's still hot outside, but you're in the shade, so it's not as hot. So that's another good thing about outcroppings. Now they were saying that they're everywhere, so it could serve as some coverage. Now temperatures, they have not gotten low enough that hypothermia could be a concern, which is another good thing, because that always seems to happen in a lot of these cases where they end up, or they tell you that they ended up with hypothermia. Not to say that they actually did, but they were polite as he makes it sound like that. It's highly impossible depending on how long they've been out there. I mean, he's 20-year veteran cop, so he knows. I'm just saying. So now they also saying that they will do everything. They will do whatever it takes to find Mr. McCarthy and get him home to his family. This is something that the Polk County Sheriff Scott Sawyer said in a statement on Tuesday. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy one. Now, this is something that was added by his sister. I can't wait until we bring him home. So yeah, that's pretty crazy, man. And when it comes to these disappearances with these people in these national parks, whether it be something very creepy or something very unexplainable, it all boils down to half-truths and whole lies. Now, the half-truths will be little bits and pieces of information that gets put out there with a little spike of truth in it. But it's only half of it. So you see like a nice clear video or something, but you don't know the whole story. Okay, you don't know the origin, where it came from. It could be something that was CGI'd, and we have a lot of those out there. It could be real. But if you only see a niblet of that video, you're not going to get the whole truth. So that's when it becomes a half-truth. Now, a whole lie is basically false information covered with the truth that he wanted you to only see. So they cover it up with so much information that makes that sound true that you never get a chance to see the real information that is blocking. That's where the whole lies come from. Whole lies cover up everything about the actual truth itself. So I've seen it. Okay? Some of those are called subliminal messages. Okay? Right in front of your face, but you don't even realize it because you're being blocked by a bunch of funny stuff. Or a dramatic scene, or maybe a love scene. You never know what it could be. But that's what all that stuff is. Whole lies. Blocking a whole truth. I'm just saying. You know, you can believe what you want to believe, but it's always going to be like that until we wake up and realize that we are being lied to and that none of what they tell us is real. And even if it is real, they only give you half of the information because they know that they're the ones with that answer, or they want you to think they're the ones with that answer. Now, the shadow government are the ones with the answer, because they're the ones that's in control of the government itself, or all of the organizations that make up a so-called government. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about something else too, that I actually did a live video for this on Facebook. You know, and with all the information that just came out a couple of weeks ago about our atmosphere being larger than they expected, we're talking it actually expands past the moon and our sun, so that makes the atmosphere larger than ever expected, like they said. So I made my little rant talking about how is it that you don't know anything about that part, but you know everything there is to know about space itself. You know about seeds and how things grow, how things die, how things are born, and all this other nonsense you keep talking about. You know so much about the outside of our atmosphere, but you didn't realize that our atmosphere is stretched beyond our sun. Now, granted, this portion of the atmosphere is a darker layer, so obviously you're not going to see it within the darkness of nothingness, which is what space truly is, nothingness. Okay, so I'll give you that. But if you're just now detecting it, you could have detected it a long time ago, obviously, since you keep going up there. So I would imagine you really actually already knew that, but you just weren't telling us that. But it also makes me believe it didn't know that we was in, that all this stuff was in the atmosphere. That means you ain't been outside space. This is my little rant about that. So, but I'm also talking about something else as well. Looking at the size of our planets, whether it be the rocky ones or the gas balls, and if you look at the size of our giver of life, okay, now they got another one called Sirius, which is actually way larger than our giver of life. Okay, that sucker's huge, you know, and it made me think about a lot of stuff. Like, okay, you got the size of our Earth and the size of our sun, as well as all the other planets that make up rocky planets. Now, science will always tell you that we have a molten core. And the reason why is because of the lava that shoots up from volcanoes. I have a very large argument with that, because first of all, if the lava was coming from the core of the Earth, don't you think that at some point it would have got out of hand and it would have pretty much turned this entire planet into a molten slab, just floating in space? I'm just saying, all these open pockets with all that lava underneath our feet within the core would eventually burn away at all the dirt. I don't care what you say about magnetic forces and all this stuff. Still, if there was enough energy from all this so-called lava, this molten stuff from the core, to get through, volcanoes, I would think it still would have done a lot more damage to the Earth on more occasions than the ones that we know about on the news. I'm just saying. So, here's my thing. If the Earth is this big, and if the sun is this big and the Earth is that small, why do we need a molten core? Think about it. You got all this heat bearing down on all these planets, no matter how far they may seem to us as far as what science tells us as far as the distance. You got a large ball of nuclear energy beating down, sending waves of energy to our planet. We're talking about a tiny little dot with all these waves that's about this big. Let's say the dot is here, right up on the tip of my hand. and my fingers are the waves. Now, all these waves are bigger than life, but yet it's hitting up against this planet, our planet. And so is the heat beating down on it. Yeah, it takes the sunlight itself 7 minutes to get to our planet, but the heat alone is still hitting this planet no matter what, warming up the planet from the outside in, not from the inside out. Now, of course, once again, science will tell you that because that's what they told you first before your mind got deep enough in order to figure that crap out. So by the time you figure it out, everybody else be like, "Oh, that's not what that means. This is what that means." Yeah, that's only because you learned this by reading a book. I learned this by tapping into my inner being, by meditating, by listening to my inner self to give me the answers that I already had in me. Happens a lot. You just got to be able to tap into it, and that's what I have done, and that's the reason why I have my moment of clarity. So the information that I may convey to my fans will be something that is true, but you may not believe it at first because you never heard of it. That's what they call lost knowledge, or unknown knowledge, or untold knowledge. The knowledge that you seek from other sources like a book, or maybe some crazy video on YouTube that tells you only certain parts of the truth. That's called false knowledge. But see, the stuff that is real on YouTube, the ones that you would think wouldn't be real, but it looks too real for you to even think that it ain't real, are the ones that the government are trying to say is what you would call, or what they would call, fake news. Anything that they call fake news is actually the real videos, my friends. Let's just not forget that. Okay? Now, there was something else I wanted to talk about as well. Keeps leaving my head. I had it earlier, but I was talking about this, and I'm just trying to get it back. But all I can tell you is that we have to wake up. I'm here to convey the information that needs to be told, because it is the truth. Some may not believe it, some may not. Well, some may believe it, some may not believe it. But for the ones that will, I'm planting that seed into your mind so that when you have your moment, you'll realize that everything I have told you is the truth. Okay, so I have covered the information about the sun. There's some other stuff I want to talk about too. But the main thing about the size of our planet and the size of the sun, why would we need a molten core if we have a sun that big heating us up from the outside in? I'm just saying, why would we need an extra amount of heat from the core to do that? Yeah, everybody keep explaining stuff about the magnetic field and all this stuff that pushes it down and keeps it from doing all the other stuff. Look. I really don't think we have a molten core. I really don't, because we wouldn't need it. I really don't. And I don't believe that the Earth rotates either, or spins. It doesn't orbit around our sun. Our sun orbits around us. So when you see the stars moving in a certain pattern or in a certain direction, that's not us spinning. Now, the generations before us had to have a reason. They had to have something to say about that, trying to figure that out. So they came up with a reason, saying, "Oh, the Earth is spinning. That's all it is." But no, it is everything else moving around us. Like the sun orbits around us. Everything is moving and spinning around us. It looks like it's spinning, but it's just moving around us. But why? That is something that I don't even know. But all I know is that the information that I give to you, I know it to be true. I tap into my inner being all the time. I talk to my guardian angel all the time. He gives me this information, and other angels give me this information as well. So, if you learn how to basically trust yourself and your instincts, and you hear something that you feel shouldn't be there, but it is, always remember that voice you hear is not your imagination. It's not your mind talking to yourself. It is your guardian angel talking to you. That's like, they say your conscious telling you right from wrong. Okay, look, your guardian angel is your conscious, and your guardian angel is also your muse, because they are originally our guides, our teachers, our protectors, our mediators. They help us through conflict. They help us make the right decisions. We just have to realize that they're the ones talking to us, not just this voice in the back of our heads, because they speak to us. They speak to us through mental telepathy, and for us, it sounds like a faraway voice because they are on a higher frequency, which cannot be touched or seen by us because we are in a physical plane. This higher frequency is a non-physical plane, but they are still here, right in behind us, in front of us, around us, never too far away. Because see, they can project their consciousness in any direction, no matter where they are. They could be in their own realm and project their consciousness from there to come here to protect us. They also hide us from potential danger as well, especially if you feel you can't see it but everybody else did. I talked about this a couple nights ago, or a couple days ago. So, yeah. That is a small nibblet of information about the truth itself. I still can't think about what I was trying to say earlier, but it was very important as far as I'm concerned. But I wanted to get all that stuff about the sun and the heat and the earth and all that stuff. But I still believe that we do not have a molten core. My guardian angel told me that we didn't have a molten core, and I believe that. I trust myself and my instincts. Okay, you may not believe it because of what science tells you, and you've grown up knowing that. So did I. Okay, but when my guardian angel tells me something, I believe it. They are the ones with all the answers. They are the teachers. I've had someone tell me that they're not the ones with all the answers. Why wouldn't they be? They were created by the Creator. They are His messengers, so they would have all the answers. Duh. I don't know who that person was. I can't remember. I don't know if it was a friend. I don't know if it was somebody I talked to. But still, that's just the way it is. It really is. Okay? You just have to be able to acknowledge it and accept it. When you learn information that goes beyond your own comprehension because you've never learned it before, that doesn't mean that it still isn't information for you to know. Just because you never heard it before. You kind of freak out. That don't make no sense. Of course it don't make no sense. You never heard it before. Just like the information you learned prior to what you just been told about yours truly. You didn't know, but you had to learn about it. Right? So you learned about this, but you learned about it in a very different way. You learned about it from a person who had his moment of clarity. From a person who had his mind cleared of all the clutter to bring in new knowledge that was never there before, or didn't have enough room to settle. Okay, because it was blocked and clogged up by all this false information in my mind. Okay, you all will have that moment. Everybody will. It just depends on when. The fact that you don't know is the way it is just supposed to be. The fact that you have never had an experience is just the way it's supposed to be. Now, you may have one, but the fact is, will you have the knowledge in your mind before you have the experience? Because if you don't, you're going to freak out. And if you got the knowledge, you'll be like, wow, that is true. But if you don't hear anything about it, or you just shut yourself off from it, and you just have an experience out of the blue like Henry McCabe, and then next thing you know, it's so frightening that you can't even stay alive enough to even say, okay, I had the experience. No, your heart gives out because it's just that powerful. Reality is very powerful. Just saying. So if you're ready for a dose of reality, I would suggest you keep your minds open, folks, because you're going to hear a lot of things that don't make sense to you. I've been there. But when I had my clarification and I had my moment of clarity, when everything just made sense, see, that is the ultimate gift. Clarity is the ultimate gift. I have received that. and you will receive that as well. The ultimate gift. That is the biggest thing that has ever happened to me. The ultimate gift. Having a moment of clarity where your mind can be free of all the clutter. And then everything else that you thought was a myth, everything else that you thought that wasn't even real, everything that you thought that you knew was real, but you didn't have that clarity to finalize what you already knew. You can have all of that once you have your moment of clarity. And you will know when you had that. You will definitely know. I knew right away as soon as I had mine. But see, I had the knowledge of all of this. When you don't have the knowledge of certain things, it will freak you out once you have your dose of reality. And dose of reality is all around us. It's just being blocked by all of the distractions like jobs, homes. Oh yes, we need shelter, but we don't need the shelter. We don't need to get the shelter the way we have been getting it. We can build it ourselves. I mean, hey, the Waltons did it. The Ingalls did it. Those were better times. It was simpler. I mean, okay, picture this. Let's just say you're one of those people that like to watch my favorite show, Sliders, right? These guys slide to a new world where you saw nothing but green grass, green mountain ranges, green hills. But you notice the scenery looked very familiar because it's the same spot you always land to where you end up seeing the Golden Gate Bridge. But you don't see the Golden Gate Bridge. You see the bay, but you don't see no bridge. You just see people walking and nothing but greenery. Walking a little further, and you're seeing people walking around, laughing, looking very peaceful. It's very warm outside. You feel that peaceful energy flow through your body. It feels like a euphoric energy that just flowed through you, and it just felt so peaceful, and you just couldn't help but enjoy how calming it made you feel. And then you started to notice other things, like people in white robes with lights floating above their heads, moving around, and the same people. And you get closer and closer, and you see angels, guardian angels. Some of them you see wings, some of them you don't see wings. Because here's the thing about guardians and their wings. Their wings are energetic. So they can make them appear and reappear. I mean, they can make them disappear and reappear at will. But they're always there. That would be the reason why you see an angel walking around with just a robe on with no wings flapping or whatever. Every once in a while you may see it, but they are actually energetic. And so is the halo. That's why you don't see it all the time as well. Okay, because most energy cannot be seen by the naked eye unless you have like some sort of, heat sensitive camera or whatever. But anyway, so you see all this. You see these angels moving around. You see an angel sitting on a bench underneath a tree, teaching a kid a lesson by using its abilities. You see people just walking around smiling. It's like they're spreading love all over the place. It's peaceful times. That world was a world, or can be a world, where there is no government, where there is no currency, where there is no need for jobs, so you don't have to worry about the infrastructure. You get back to the ways of old, which would be tilling the land, living off the land. Instead of you going to the grocery store where the freezer section is to pick up a big old slab of meat or turkey for Thanksgiving, you can do it the old-fashioned way. Use a bow and arrow, even a gun, and just kill for food. Don't kill for sport. Okay? That's surviving. Feeding your family. Wouldn't that be a better time without having to worry about how much money your check is going to be within 2 weeks? Come on, people. We need to get back to the ways of old. We need to get rid of all this stuff. But in order for that to happen, this is something that ain't going to happen for a long time. But it's like I said, if we didn't have a government, and if Nikola Tesla himself had been revered and honored, we would have free energy. But these other people, like Thomas Edison and what's his name? The guy that invented banks. J.P. Morgan. If these people had backed him up, had become his partner, had looked at him as a genius instead of him being a threat to them and their means of rising to the top, it being the richest person in America, he could have been a very powerful man, very rich man as well. But no, they tore him down and they threw him away. But let's just say he was. And we had free energy. We got the tower back that could power every single home on the planet, or within I don't know, maybe half the earth, I guess. I don't know. But if he had one he had one stationed all around the globe, then, hey, he could have done that. But no, we don't have that. But let's just say we did. Let's just say we were living in a time or a cycle. That's what basically everything is. It's a cycle. It's not time. Time doesn't exist. Time, maybe it does exist in the physical plane, but in retrospect, this is really a cycle and nothing but. So once this cycle is done, we move on to the next one, which is when we leave our earthly vessel. When the physical portion of ourselves passes away, we leave, we shed our earthly vessel, and we move on to do whatever it is we want to do in immortality, because our energy alone is immortal or eternal. I know it's a lot to take in, but I'm feeling like I just need to share this. Okay, there's just so much that needs to be said about how everything just is. There is a balance that is supposed to be set for this world to be the way it should be, and that's us being able to live free and do whatever we want without having to worry about driving down the street and we get stopped for something stupid, and then we pull away and then end up with a knee in our back, and next thing you know, we in jail for something that we didn't do or something that we could have prevented if we had just complied. Or any other case. If all that stuff happens, if we were balanced, if we understood what the balance really meant, then we would have so much more to live for. And imagine, once that happens, we reach our full potential. And we become connected to I would say we acknowledge the fact that we are connected to every single human on the face of this planet, or plane, as I like to call it. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? We already are connected. Just think about it. That little thing where you just always seem to just look at somebody out of the blue. You just can't help but look just to see who that is. That's because you're connected to that person. It just seemed like you just look out of just a reflex, and then bam, there's that person. That's only because you were connected to the person as they pass by you. Every single person you do that to, you're connected to them. You're connected to everybody on this planet. I'm connected to everybody on this planet. I'm connected to you. I may be coming from way over here, and you guys are way over there, but I'm connected to you anyway. Okay? It just doesn't feel that way because our minds are blocked from the knowledge of that. If we had the knowledge of that, we would notice this, and then we'll be able to do so much more. We won't even need phones after that. We could just use our minds to connect with each other and talk and communicate, converse. Can you imagine the amount of bills that would be cut if we could do that? No more cell phone bills, no more landline bills, no more having to have some big phone line for an office where you got to press a button to talk to like 20 different people from different offices coming in from one source of, sound travel. I'm just saying, all these things we can have if you want it that bad. Do you want to live free and do whatever you want? I know I do. I have a purpose. And I know what that purpose is. Now, I can't tell you what that is because it is not for you to know just yet. But when that time comes, you will know. And I promise you, you will be amazed. But anyway, guys, I gotta go. I just wanted to share that with you. I was feeling very sharing today. It was something that I had in me all day. I've been thinking about it. I was just trying to figure what should I share to my family on Facebook. My fans. I love you guys so much. I wanted to give you guys some insight. From all the meditation that I do and everything, I come back with a lot of information, and I have a lot of quotes that I post on my Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook and you on my name and you see my Facebook page, and I have two Facebook pages. I have one for this called Mysterious Disappearances, which is where I post a lot of my videos at, and I get a lot of likes from that too. I post a lot of my quotes on there that are very important for me to post and to get out there for everyone to read, and hopefully it will help them, so I'm just saying, I'm just here to help. It's my job. That's what I was created for. To be the mediator for the truth, okay? Being an agent of the balance so that you can understand how all that works. You have to, in order for you to have balance in your life. But you have to be able to cope and coexist with dark and light. That's another story for another day. I can get into that, but we have to leave and come back. So, you know how I do it, guys. At the end of every single one of these videos, you know how I do it, and I try to do it well. So, I'm going to do it as well as I can right here, right now, right here on this channel, Insane Disappearances. So I throw up this one, bang. I throw up that one, bang. And I say, what? Aloha, mahalo, and huiho. Peace out, brother. Peace out, waine. Shoots. Ooh.